The summer is almost here. Students look back on this unpredictable school year.
There are many languages taught at Atlantic High. We'll show you one where not a word is spoken.
And for those of us who love pizza, you'll see how the perfect pie is made. Those stories and more are on the way. Viking News starts right now. Hi everyone, and welcome to Viking News. Along with Charlie Vicario, I'm Nasir Turner.
Another school year is coming to an end. Everyone has to admit this year was much better than a year ago. The pandemic didn't interrupt school or any activities, and the mandate of wearing a mask eventually went away. Caitlin Raymond has more on the 2021 to 2022 school year.
Depending on who you ask, this school year will be remembered for many different things.
This school year was my first year in the school. That's one thing I would remember about this school year, and it was actually fun and more interesting than I thought it would be.
I think I'll remember being back and being able to be with my friends for the first year, and also having the masks be done for the first time in 2 years in school.
For the seniors, it's a time to celebrate, not only the end of their high school career, but also because the pandemic did not interrupt their final year of school and activities.
I'm glad that we're back in school. I'm glad that I can enjoy my senior year inside of school instead of behind a Chromebook.
For many students, the best part of the year came in March with the removal of the mask mandate.
When they said we didn't have to wear masks, I flung my mask off. I didn't even worry about nothing. I'm tired of wearing my mask or my glasses because it fogs up my glasses. So yeah, I was really happy about that.
This school year will also be remembered for two big changes. In mid-year, Ms. Chapman took over as the school's new principal. And last month, Gene Allen stepped down as the boys' basketball coach after 19 illustrious years.
He definitely motivated me to become a better person on and off the court. And I'll just use everything that he taught me in the real world, becoming an adult, becoming a man. And he's definitely helping me a lot in that aspect of life.
Overall, it felt like a normal year at Atlantic High, which is a good thing. Juniors are just hoping their senior year will feel the same way.
I'm very hopeful for that. I pray to God that nothing gets in the way because technically we're going to be the first seniors that's going to have no interruptions.
My senior year I hope it doesn't fly by, but I hope it's just a breeze with no problems and I can just have a good year.
For Viking News, I'm Caitlin Raymond.
It's been a great school year. Congratulations going to all of our seniors. It's always a challenge to learn a different language. In Miss Ingram's Spanish 3 class, there's a unique makeup. Half of the class is still learning the language, while the other half knows how to speak Spanish fluently. But as Kamani Blackman tells us, Hispanic students still have a lot to learn in Spanish class.
At times, it can be a challenge for Ms. Ingram to teach both English and Hispanic students in the Spanish class.
The native Spanish speakers usually come, with all the knowledge to speak the language, but they struggle a bit with writing and sometimes reading as well. I think a challenge sometimes, though, with even native English speakers is that you guys have been studying Spanish for so long, right, since kindergarten. And so now at this level, the question is, well, what else do I need to learn, And it becomes a little bit more difficult.
Even though Hispanic students speak the language, that doesn't mean students don't have something to learn.
I can learn new things like accents. So it's not like I know everything in Spanish class, but it's also like a good experience to learn more.
Spanish class also involves a lot of writing, and that's where most of the learning takes place.
How is because I can text in Spanish to people who are native born in Spanish countries and speak to them in Spanish if they don't understand English.
The writing isn't the only challenge. Many students speak Spanish in a different way, depending on how it's spoken at home.
The differences in those countries, I will ask them, well, what's more common? What do you say? What do you guys say? And they just share that information with me, and then I can share it with the class.
It takes a while for the English-speaking students to keep up. Sometimes they're envious of the way Spanish flows off the tongue of their Hispanic classmates.
It is definitely it is easier for them to pronounce words more, and it's kind of embarrassing not really being able to get the accent right, so I do have to try to work on it. It is a little bit easier for them.
Even though the skill set of English and Spanish students couldn't be more different, Ms. Ingram makes sure the class is enjoyable for everyone.
I can learn new things like accents. So it's not like I know everything in Spanish class, but it's also like a good experience to learn more.
Work is really interesting, and she makes a lot of fun activities for us to do. So it's just like really fun going to her class every day.
For Viking News, I'm Kamani Blackman.
Besides Spanish, students can take other languages, like French or Latin. But there's one class where speaking the language is done with the hands and not the voice. Hillary Perch joins us now with more on American Sign Language. Hillary?
Ms. Murnaghan has been teaching American Sign Language at Atlantic High for the past 3 years. Her interest in communicating with deaf people didn't come by accident. She has a personal connection to the language, and she had to learn it out of necessity.
In American Sign Language, not a word is spoken. Instead, communication takes place with the movement of each hand.
ASL is an important language for students because we have a need for interpreters. We don't have enough interpreters in the community, and we need interpreters of all different backgrounds.
Teaching ASL is personal for Miss Murnaghan. She is the daughter of 2 deaf parents, which made learning ASL a necessity.
It was crucial for my survival that I learn it, but I didn't master it until I was in my 20s.
When she's teaching, students can feel the personal connection Miss Murnaghan has with the language.
I wanted to be able to communicate with the deaf people because I feel like it's not fair for us not to really understand them and them not understand us.
I like the class because obviously you're hands-on, you're signing with the teacher, you're giving examples, you watch videos to understand. Not only are you learning how to sign, but how the community is like, their cultural reasons behind things.
Besides teaching sign language, Miss Murnaghan is an accomplished singer. You can find videos of her singing on YouTube.
When I miss the light, the night is stolen.
That was kind of accidental. I don't know how to describe that. I just like to do it in my free time. I love to sit at the piano and just make stuff up.
Though singing is her hobby, it's teaching that is most rewarding.
It just feels wonderful to see that kids are interested. And when they pick it up and they take off with it, I'm just like, oh, maybe we have another interpreter. That's what I think.
Ms. Murnaghan is not alone. 90% of children born to deaf parents are hearing. There's actually a name for those children. They're called CODAs, which stands for Child of Deaf Adult. If the name CODA sounds familiar, that's because CODA won the Oscar for Best Picture 2 months ago. Yes, the movie is based on a hearing child with a deaf family. Nazir?
Interesting story, Hillary. And Miss Murnaghan also has a great voice. Speaking of music, many times we listen to a song, we pay attention to the words. But for most artists, the beat is equally important. Depending on the song, many times the beat is developed before the song is written. Andres Bayona is a sophomore here at the high school, and he's working on making a beat that he hopes a professional artist will use someday. Andres tells us about the work that goes into creating a beat.
I've always had a love for music, but it wasn't until a year ago that I started producing beats. You'd be surprised what goes into this process. First, you have to get non-copyrighted samples as a base. Once you have a base, then the work begins. You have to chop it up, then you mix and master it, then add effects and filters to it. This makes the beat sound unique and better. You would think this process of mixing and matching and adding effects would take a few days. But actually, it will take almost a year to complete. I have 2 other partners who are responsible for the drums and the balancing of the beat. We have about 5 more months of work to go. Our goal is to get the beat just right to sell to an artist. If we could do that, all this hard work would pay off. For Viking News, I'm Andres Bayona.
Wow, a year just to make a beat. Now that's dedication. Andres isn't the only one who has a love for music. Mr. Lorge has had a passion for music his entire life. That's why he's been teaching it for 20 years at Atlantic High. Though he teaches piano now, Mr. Lorge has done it all. Jurgensen Sinalis has more.
Mr. Lorge has been playing instruments since grade school, but he didn't start with the piano. Instead, it was the trombone.
Well, my first instrument was always my voice, and that is probably what I'm most accomplished with. I do sing professionally as an opera singer. I also play the trombone, I started when I was in 4th grade.
By the time he was 17, Mr. Lords learned to play the piano and has been playing it ever since.
I was hired originally to direct the choir at Atlantic City High School, and with that came piano classes. After a number of years, I moved around. I've taught really every music course that this school has, other than the new guitar class that Mr. Martin started.
It's not just the way he plays it the students enjoy. It's the way he teaches, with positive energy and vibes.
It makes me happy. Music is that's my comfort zone. Music makes me comfortable. When I'm sad, I listen to music, play some music. When I'm trying to chill, play some music, listen to music. So this is my getaway place.
Learning how to play an instrument like the piano isn't about just remembering notes. It's also about learning how to express yourself.
Piano is like an instrument that everybody's like used to, everybody knows about, and like they can make their own stuff and get creative with it. So like learning the basics in Mr. Lords' class like opens up new creative ideas for people.
For Viking News, I'm Jorgensen Sinelis.
Thanks, Jorgensen. Just like music, nearly everyone loves pizza. When you have a craving, there's nothing like the perfect slice. It makes you wonder, how can pizza taste so good every time? Ricky Rossetti went to a local place and vendors to find out.
Nefaki Marino is nicknamed Maestro. That's because he's been making pizza for nearly 30 years.
My family do bread. I kind of get a lot of experience to bake stuff, so for me it's kind of easy to learn how to flip the pizza through many years I do this.
Even though Maestro makes it look easy, he believes anyone can make a pizza, but it starts with the dough.
Make sure the dough is a little bit hard, and that's how you can flip it over all the way down to the 16, 18, 24 inches, whatever you decide to move.
Once the dough is pinched, then comes the part that could intimidate anyone, flipping the pizza.
When you flip it over, you have to stretch it. It's not just flip it over, stretch it.
Then you have to stretch the pizza. Let the board be your guide.
I can tell you right now, this is 16 inch. It's the mark right there on the board.
Now comes the fun part. You take one big scoop of sauce, and starting from the middle of the pizza, you spread it all around. After that, you take one big handful of cheese and spread it evenly on the pizza.
The ingredients is real important to get good pizza. When you got good ingredients and top quality ingredients, that's when you got best pizza on the market.
The final step is putting the pizza in the oven. It usually takes about 8 minutes to cook. Once the pizza is done, it's time to slice it. With all of Maestro's experience, he makes everything look easy, but he also believes anyone can do it.
My advice for anybody who's beginners and they want to learn how to make pizza, especially the hand tossed pizza, which is the old fashioned, is real to try hard and try to do your best. Always, when you try hard, everything can be easy.
For Viking News, I'm Ricky Rossetti.
Wow, those pizzas look so good.
Now I have a craving.
That's going to do it for this edition of Viking News.
For Nazir Turner, I'm Charlie Vicario. I hope you have a great day.